Hello and welcome to this week's Weaving Web3 with me, James.
Me, Chris.
A me stash.
This week we're going to be talking about some people's favourite topics, not mine, but some people's. We're going to be talking about NFTs, a few of the big projects that mainly these two boys have been involved in, about what do we think is the future for NFTs, what's the functionality, where are they headed, and what's going to happen to them. I'm probably going to let these two take charge this week because I am not an artistic boy. The art bit of the world is really interesting. I'd love to help you with your tax on it, but the art itself is not so much me. I don't know if Stash or Chris would like to kick us off and just sort of explain to everyone what an NFT is, how they can get one, and that sort of thing.
Go for it, Chris. You're doing your masters in it, so just take it
No,
away.
no, not masters. I'm doing my final project, my
Final
dissertation.
project, sorry. That's the one.
I am actually creating my own NFT collection, so not that it's going to be worth anything or anything. But NFT is a non-fungible token. So basically, it is a token on the blockchain, can be tracked and stuff, and yeah, it's basically you can't.
It's like having a piece of
Let's start
art.
that
It's like having a piece of art with a digital signature on it. So
Yeah,
somebody's done
yeah.
some
So
art.
it's like a piece of art with a digital signature on it. So basically, it's a one of one. Basically, you have that one, and there are lots of collections out there. There are lots of different functionalities to having NFTs. So there's all sorts from being part of a community of holders to earning tokens, which can be associated with crypto. And yeah, so there's a wide variety of functionality out there. And there's also a lot of scams. A lot of scams, a lot of rug pulls. So I guess this episode is also to help you out to try and identify those things, like to start off with, right? Because a lot of people that I know, for one, thought NFTs were a scam, and then they didn't see the potential in NFTs, and it sort of adds toxicity to the environment, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Stash?
Well, I absolutely agree with you. Like NFTs, I think have got the worst reputation in the world. Like a, a picture of like some cartoon animal is worth £1 million. Where does someone come from your normal life to hear that a bored ape is worth 1 million? You're like, what the how where is this value coming from? What is it? Like for in that case, it's a community, a super hyper elite communities that host events, meet celebrities, go yacht parties, and that's what ticket is basically a ticket to luxury. But the technology behind NFTs is like, for me, like once I understood, is mind blowing because it is literally the authenticity on an immutable blockchain that could never be changed. Like in England, there's like a thing called Ticketmaster where people sell scam tickets on and fake tickets resellers, and where people will go to events and be like, hang on a second, this isn't actually a real ticket, because this is all people can
It's
create.
not Ticketmaster. That's Viagogo.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Viagogo. Yeah, Ticketmaster's the official one.
Yeah, sorry,
Ticketmaster's almost a monopoly, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I agree. Ticketmasters are scam artists, but for different reasons.
But in
Yeah,
that case, you could be like, this ticket is official, let's say a football ticket that is not scam, that will let you in entry. Like there is no way to cheat the system, kind of thing.
yeah.
So just
It's
to
all on the
clarify with the
blockchain.
NFTs, so we talk about a couple of things with the what is the functionality of the NFT. So like Chris said, there's a digital one of one, which is good for art, where obviously you get fakes and forgeries, and they're then also useful where Stasha said where you can have a fake ticket, or when you want someone to have something exclusively.
Like a gated
So
community or discourse. Like, for example, certain NFT projects give you the premium access to, let's say, I don't know, exclusive events, going to, like I said, these parties, or
but
like
my boss at
access.
work has an NFT that allows him into a private members club in London.
Oh wow. That's
So there's
Yeah,
things
so
like that.
it's basically like a digital ticket to an event, right? Kind
essential.
of. into a club, into a specific club. By buying an NFT in this community, you enter into this community and you have a ticket and you are part of the club, right? However, the amount of innovation going into it depends from project to project, right? So a lot of these projects, some of them want to make games, right? So we've got things like Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity is an NFT game, right? Where you get these little Axie things, and you breed them, and then you can like play with them in this game. I'm pretty sure it's available on the App Store, and you get tokens from them as well. And if you see, like, their tokens are doing really well. Like, it is the first proper successful, I guess, play to earn sort of NFT game, right? And there's a lot of scams out there. Like, I recently watched this video by a guy called Copyzilla on YouTube, where he was talking about an NFT game that Logan Paul wanted to do.
Oh yeah,
Cryptocurrency.co, right? Yeah, I and it's insane. Like, the fact that they sold so much of this zoo token and that they had associated with their NFT collection, and these eggs, which were meant to hatch to do something similar like the Axie Infinity game, right? So you were meant to hatch them, you would be able to get like tokens from, like, basically you could breed them, you'd get different like artworks, different rarities, stuff like that. And he just abandoned the project as soon as, like, on launch day, basically. So they sold all this stuff, they sold all the tokens, they got like a percentage of the token available, and they just basically dumped it and stuff like that. But yeah, that's me going on a bit of a tangent about NFT games. You've got other projects, however, that are just, they outright say it's a PFP project. A PFP is a profile picture, right? So you've got a cool picture of like a bunny, a bear, something like that, right? It's on the blockchain. It's yours for sure. That's the only picture. I mean, sure, somewhat the amount of times you get, like, especially in NFTs, oh, but I can just right click it and save it. Oh, I've just stolen the NFT. It doesn't work like that, though.
But you can get a print. You can get a print of the Mona Lisa for £2 and put it on your wall, and that's
the thing.
That's what everyone. That's the whole thing, right? Is art is not valuable. Art is valuable because people think it's pretty, right? That canvas and the oil and the paints do not have intrinsically a value that is massive. Somebody has used their artistic ability to create something that people enjoy that's got value. Now, is there discernibly that much difference than what your eye enjoys between a high-quality print of the Mona Lisa and the original? No. But there is an exclusivity that the original, created by the master painter, etc., is in your hands.
Yeah.
And that's where this value comes from. And that's what the whole thing I explain to people with NFTs. Go, look, a lot of it is bragging rights. A lot of it is, I hold the original one of one. It doesn't matter how many copies of the Mona Lisa are out there. The Louvre have got the original, and that's what people want to see. Now, I know it's slightly different because obviously it hasn't been hand painted or whatever in the NFT space.
Yeah,
but
digital art is digital art. So, like, saving a picture will be an exact copy of it, sure. Yeah. However, you won't have the, like, proof, authenticity, right? Authenticity is key. Like, you see it in every single community. You see it in sneakers, right? People pay thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds for shoes, where you can get basically a one-of-one replica from a Chinese market, or like a specific person who knows how to make these things, and you could get it for like 50 quid.
It's just how luxury brands function, isn't it? Like, how much better is a Hugo Boss suit than a suit you can buy from TM Lewin, right? Yeah. Or wherever, right? The TM Lewin suit is going to be 250 quid. The Hugo Boss suit might be two grand. Now, I'm sure that somebody would go, no, the quality is so much different. Okay, it might be. Maybe the materials cost twice as much, but the majority of what you're paying is for who's designed it, who's made it, and what name's on there. And do you know what I mean? That's it. And that's what I think with the NFTs is that where the value comes from is the fact that it's the exclusivity, it's the brand. Like you guys said, the Board Your Ape Club, they gave out lots of those to very high profile celebrities in exactly the same way that big brands do with like, do you guys remember Gal Gadot, that drama on Twitter? Where she was Huawei, I think. She was like their lead brand sponsor when she'd just done Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And Marques Brownlee, the YouTuber, tweeted out that she was promoting this Huawei phone, and in the metadata of the tweet, it said from iPhone. So she was doing her brand stuff from her iPhone, tweeting about how good her Huawei was. And he posted about it, it absolutely blew up. But it's like, that's all it is at the end of the day. The same with the Board Your Ape Club. They gave them away to very wealthy people because that's who they want you to think is using them. The reality is they're getting paid to promote something. I think that's one bit that people need to realise.
So there's, especially with Bored Ape Yacht Club, Bored Ape Yacht Club was one of the earlier collections, right? They started off as a PFP collection, just a load of different apes, right?
Sorry, Chris, could you explain to me quickly, when you talk about collections and PFP, what do you mean by both?
So PFP, as I said, is profile picture. So it's just a picture, basically. They're saying this is just a picture. It doesn't have necessarily any utility. You are part of the community because you own this picture. And so basically you're part of the club.
And are the PFPs generally the same image with attributes on them?
Yes. So there's a base image for all of them. Same with Bored Apes, same with pretty much everything, especially in the PFP sort of thing. There's a base image or structure, and then there's different attributes with different rarities. So I don't know, maybe there's a specific hat that there's only 2 of them on 2 different ones. But it's like a random assortment.
So
basically when you're creating your NFT collection, you will have the base image and you'll have, let's say, 500 different like accessories and stuff like that with different levels of rarity towards them to them, and you'll put them in an algorithm. The algorithm will generate 10,000 different combinations of these attributes with the base image, and they will be your NFTs, right?
Yeah. And that in itself is creating further exclusivity within the exclusive group, isn't it? Because they go, this attribute, because there's only 2 of it, even if it looks rubbish, doesn't actually matter, because if it's rare, it's then more valuable. Normally they do make
55 ETH for it.
Yeah, absolutely. But so then when you talk about a collection, Chris, a collection is that 10,000 of that one image with all the little different attributes.
Yeah. So as well as that, a lot of them have like specific, like, I don't know, legendary ones, right? Special ones, which adds a more of a lottery factor to it, right? A lot of people. So with a lot of projects, what happens is there's a mint. Let's talk the sort of lifespan of an NFT project here. So you go from making all the social media. Well, that's how a lot of these projects go, right? Make the social media, they make the Discord, they make everything. They develop hype. They try and develop hype on different levels of sort of success, right? So they hype it up. They put a roadmap out, which specifies what they as a company want to achieve with this NFT. The hype is created, the NFT goes to mint, you mint the NFT, there is a pre-reveal period where you can trade your NFTs. So basically, you mint an NFT if you've got like a whitelist, which means early access to be able to mint the NFT. You can sort of mint it for the base price that they have set. And then if it's quite a hyped NFT, then you can instantly sell it for like a decent profit. Yeah, I didn't hear you, Stash. What did you say?
I was just agreeing.
Yeah. But yeah, so a lot of people, what they do is they grind in the discords, they get whitelists to these projects, which whitelists are given out based on like contribution to the project and stuff like that, all through the hype thing, or they're given out through Twitter giveaways, stuff like that. So they'll do that, they'll mint the project, and then they'll get the pre-revealed NFT and they'll just sell it straight away because they know they're going to make a profit. Others, with this lottery aspect of I could get a rare one, I could get like a legendary one, they buy it, they wait for reveal, and then 99.9% of people end up with like, or 99% basically, end up with something that they're like, oh, I didn't get the one that I wanted, or I didn't get like a really good one. Okay. And then there's a dump. So that's the thing. Like
always, but a lot of the time there is, like on some hype projects, you after the real people be like, shit, this is great, and they just price just keeps skyrocketing.
Yeah, there is that aspect as well. So it really depends from project to project. But if you hype it up for the wrong reasons, or you have the wrong sort of community involved, you're just sort of setting yourself up for failure, because what they're going to do is they're going to try and get the really good ones that they know that they can sell for a lot of money, and if they don't get it, they're just going to dump it straight away. They're just going to be like, okay, sell it, I don't want to be involved in this community, I don't believe in it. So there's like a level of like trying to gain hype and keep the hype, but you also need to back up the hype, right? Because people are hyped up about your project because they think it's something really cool. You're doing something really cool that I guess no one else has done, or like you're building something that they want to be involved in. You need to have some way of like keeping them on board. And that's where projects do well. So we've got things like, as you said, Bored Ape Yacht Club. Bored Ape Yacht Club is kind of a bit of an outlier because it was one of the early NFTs. People like early NFTs. They like to be like, oh, this one was the first one. There's literally a collection of rocks which were minted, like I think there's 100 of them, ETH rocks or something like that. They were minted like back in 2018 or something like that, really early in the NFT space, and I think they've sold for something like 70. Yeah. Just because they're one of the first projects. Like you're literally paying for a picture of a rock that someone drew. But Bored Ape Yacht Club have that on their back, that they were an early collection of PFPs. They kind of, I'm not going to say that they did it first because I don't know that, but they were one of the early collections, and they have built on that. So they've built a lot of different things. So they've released like the mutant apes, where so basically they did like a serum which you could combine with your ape, and you could create the mutant ape, which now have a floor price of something like 15 ETH. So, and they have really
jumped on that
really sort of
build
incentivized holding. So they didn't start off with a token. They created their token, ApeCoin, and if you were a holder of a Bored Ape, you got something like 30k of their token, like 30k fiat. So we're talking like £30,000 worth of this token just for being a holder. If you just had the mutant, so they even rewarded people who got in late, who decided, oh, I want to buy a mutant ape because I can't afford a Bored Ape. You got something like 10k straight up. Like, and they have built and they've shown over and over again that why they are the number one project, right? They've got like loads of collaborations. Yeah, go on, Stash. Sorry, I know.
No. They also creatively like the other verse, which they were basically going to use their funds to create their own blockchain, basically, because they did that mint where it basically caused the gas prices that you pay for transaction fees to be in the hundreds and thousands. No, sorry, not hundreds of thousands. I'm like hundreds, like hundreds of pounds, and like thousands just to like. So basically, it literally broke the Ethereum network. It didn't stop it or anything, but because people want to just do, let's say you wanted to swap 100 quid of USDC into ETH, you'd be paying like £1,000 just to make £100 transaction. You're just like, hang on a second, you were thinking like they definitely need to create their own blockchain and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
There was
like
it was the
Innovate,
it was the Tezard's product on Tezard's on the Tezos blockchain. It's like one of the first NFT projects they had. I know when that launched, it was like the biggest test that blockchain had ever had. So like the NFTs do put a lot of pressure on blockchains because of the immediacy. Because normally as well, you get sort of like you said, a lot of times people will sell and all their NFTs will be sold for like with the reveal ones. Say they're 15 quid each for the whatever launch. There's 4,000. Like you guys said, as soon as they'll all come live at the same time, won't they? At which point there's a massive rush for people to sell or people to see what they've got, what's the value. And you think it's a lot of people transacting all at once. Could be like you said, 10,000 odd, all trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you get with the hype projects. Basically, we talked about this in the Sui video, right? The gas, right? So gas is dependent on how it's part of, especially on the Ethereum network. It basically is taken when you do a transaction on the Ethereum network, right? Depending on how busy the network is, you can pay more gas for a higher priority for your transaction to go through. And it basically the Ethereum that is taken in gas gets given to the people staking on the Ethereum network and stuff like that. It's sort of like a cyclical thing, right? It's a reward system.
Yeah.
However, it sort of props up the economy of the whole thing. So gas, basically, especially for these hype projects, you see 100,000 people are trying to mint this project. Like it becomes a gas war. So gas war is a term that is used a lot in NFTs. And gas wars basically mean that whoever pays the most gas gets the NFT, right? So there are people who end up paying, as Stash said, thousands of pounds just in gas to get an NFT, which is initially worth being sold as for 300 quid, let's say.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're putting on that value to have those rare ones, because some people are then selling the NFTs that was actually worth 300 quid now for like tens of thousands. So you're like,
that's the thing. If it's a hype project, then you kind of consider the gas fee as part of the cost of entry, right? So someone pays £1,300 because they've paid gas. It's an exaggeration, obviously. £1,000 in gas is very, very like rare. You're not really going to come across that. But yeah, let's say someone's paid £1,300 because of the gas to be included in this project. They're doing that because they believe that even at £1,300, they're going to make a profit on it.
Yeah, and it's like you said, Chris, as well. There's a real time element to it because at hit point here, it's worth nothing. 6 hours in, it might be up here, and 12 hours in, it could be down here. And you think, so you need to be in that first peak, because if you do, it might never come up, particularly if it's one where everyone's revealing at the same time, because a lot of people are going to try and sell.
So normally they have like a 24-hour period between mint and like reveal or something like that. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's a week. And I guess this is also depends on the project. They take a creator fee, right? So each transaction or each sale of their NFT, they take a cut as the creator of the project. So it's also a way of like raising money for the project. So let's say, I don't know, for example, the Trump NFTs that we were talking, right?
Yeah.
So let me go on Trump.
Well, there was actually a bit of news, like the actual owners of the NFT collection minted 1,000 of them for free. So it's like, that's why the floor price suddenly went down, because someone was like, hang on a second, the guys who created this NFT was selling their NFTs basically to the open market, and people were buying them at inflated prices, and you're like, hang on a second, that is some scammy.
That whole thing reeks.
It
is all a scam, but they're still at 0.2 ETH, and I'm just like, this is just.
I mean, so we said, right? We said last week, or 2 weeks ago on our Trump show, we were like, check back and see what we're at. So I think we were at 0.45.
Yeah. And it'd been 0.6 ETH earlier in the day.
Yeah, it's now at 0.159.
Yeah.
Floor price. So we're talking going from.
It shows you how quickly hype can die down and kill like
Yeah.
a price. Like
Well-
you'd be like, oh my god, I purchased this Trump NFT for 800 quid. Now it's worth 200 quid.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's worth
and that happens with
$189
as well.
now. Yeah, they're worth $189, which is around double what you would have paid.
But that's hilarious. That's still like an 180% return.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For a project that is literally some of those images are they took Shutterstock images and photoshopped bits out.
Yeah.
Because I saw one that had one of the belts still had the S from Shutterstock on it on the bottom of the S because they thought it was part of the buckle. Whoever had edited it out, you could still see it, and someone had put the Shutterstock image next to it. So stuff like that, and you just think like, there's no value in it. And I think those are the sort of projects that give NFTs a really bad name.
Absolutely.
Have you guys got any NFT projects you've seen that have really good quality art that you'd like to share?
And communities that I'm part of, yes, 100%.
Have you got something we could have a look at, Stash? Because I just want to show people that, because Chris has explained sort of what Board Yacht 8 Club looks like.
Board 8 Yacht Club.
Yeah, Board 8 Yacht Club. The other way, however it lands. They're monkeys with hats. It'd be really useful to sort of show people what he's talking about there with the different attributes. And then also, I think it'd be really useful to show that, you know, there are actually some people who are very creative doing it.
Yeah.
Because like, what Chris has said is strikes me, and I don't know if you boys will agree or disagree, that seems to me like a tech boy's way of making art. If you ask a tech bro, we're going to make some art, what would you do? He'd go, I'll do a base model, and then I'll do a load of attributes that they'll all get assigned out. Whereas I feel like if you asked artists, not many of them would choose that model. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
So I just think it's nice to sort of balance it up and show people what you mean with the profile picture ones, and then also some more artsy ones.
However, before we move on, sorry, I just wanted to make this point as well. So a point that from the first NFT expo that I went to was brought up a lot was the fact that NFT, right, gives sort of the control back to the creator. So if you are an artist and you put your artwork up as an NFT, it is like you are selling your original artwork, but you get 100% of the profits. And also it makes the marketplace worldwide. So if you're just a local artist from Africa, let's say, you have access to a computer, but prices for artwork in your area, you're not going to make very much. Right? You can put this up and make 1 ETH from like one of your drawings or one of your pieces of art. That goes so much further in a place like Africa than it would here. And it sort of levels the playing field, which is one thing that I really like about NFTs. It gives control back to the artist, and it also levels the playing field worldwide. It's not like an elitist thing of you can sell a blank canvas in America for £1 million, sort of thing.
I think, and like you said as well, Chris, that they'll get a kickback. So in their smart contract, they'd say, 10% of sale price comes to me. So,
exactly. So any time that your piece of artwork is sort of transferred, then you always get a kickback. You always
a royalty, isn't it?
A royalty. Yeah. Anyway,
which
sorry, go on, sir.
No. That was actually a great point, Chris, because I think that's really important for people to understand that it is actually beneficial to lots of people to do art online.
Yeah, regardless of these people who take advantage of the system in order to benefit themselves and to scam, right? Like in sort of like the heart of it, like there is a much better way of it's a much better way of selling art and having a worldwide marketplace for that.
It's also a good way of actually weirdly owning designs. So like if you own the NFT for a design or whatever, if you wanted to go out and put that on a shirt, I'm not exactly sure how actually the copyrights work.
So it's some of them in the NFT collection, they will give you full exclusive, like full rights to your NFT collection. So you could literally, like some of these brands encourage you to do like different, like create companies, use their things as logos, Like when you go to one of the projects I'll talk about, Alien Friends, like they've got people that have created a coffee company, a beard oils, and they've got like the Alien Friend logos, and like it was literally their 1 year anniversary, and they were saying like all these people that have like used their things, because then they get, when they build their company, you can apply from support from the actual community. So some people may donate money, or you can use like the NFT platforms, Twitter, that may have like 100,000 viewers, and you're like, bam, you already have like a player base of people to be engaged with. So it's when you look at a collection, you may actually be like, hang on a second, these guys offer grants. If you may be like, I like this logo, I'm going to use that, and be like, apply for a grant, and you get, it is the sense of community. That's what I think the best thing about the NFT collections is if you, the few projects that could literally are empowering other people to get like their independence and like build their lives essentially.
But there's a couple of things as well with the NFT sort of on that vein, where I think, for example, if Chris does a beautiful NFT bit of art, right, and he owns the copyright on that, with how much better APIs are getting, with how much better AIs are getting, with how much better video and photo AI regeneration is getting, I don't think it's inconceivable that within the relatively new future, Chris could have his piece of art, unique piece of art, as an NFT owned, and that also be linked into his intellectual property of this was a piece of art created by me, right? All signatured off. I don't think it's that far away before Chris could go scour the internet for this image with like a Google Lens type search
absolutely.
and raise any patent complaints, but do you know what I mean, IP issues with other companies.
Well, this is one thing talking about the screenshots. Like someone can screenshot it, and then you're like, hang on a second, that's my picture. I own the ownership. See you later. Give me money because you've been using it.
And particularly the thing I thought about was like fashion brands and things. Because and are there places where somebody does a really cool bit of art and somebody sees it and they go, oh, we'll put that on a t-shirt or knock off merchandise or whatever. And you think, well, actually, I made that design. You know, do you know what I mean? So I think there is that functionality there. It's maybe a bit Big Brother about it, but I also thought with fashion brands, it would be cool if, for example, a company, I'm sure people do this, a fashion brand like Gucci released a 100 NFT collection, and they go, actually buy our NFT and we'll send you a t-shirt with the logo on it. We'll send you something else with it on there. I don't think as well that could be something where they link in physical fashion and goods with these NFTs and sort of, because we're talking about exclusivity, that sort of a brand doing that sort of deals could be something very interesting.
Yeah.
So Gucci have launched a few similar things like that, and like I don't know.
Yeah, there are things like that.
Tiffany's with the punks, you got like your own punk as a Tiffany necklace or a bracelet.
Yeah, and I think they're great ideas, like doing bits like that, because as much as the digital world is great, I think it's nice to have something physical on it. I definitely think so, like having a particular t-shirt or whatever with it, because the thing with the NFTs is, like, we had a look at Chris's collection just a bit earlier, and he's got some really cool art in there. But it is like some of it's really cool art, and I'm sure like it was a hyacinth bear you had, Chris. I was like, that would look absolutely awesome just as a square on a tee, like stuff like that. I'm just like, it looks awesome. It's a sort of like design, whatever you'd see in like an Urban Outfitters, and you'd be like, yeah, that's on the back of a t-shirt, and that looks cool. And just to give people the option of being like, no, I'll buy that, and then I'll get a cool t-shirt with it or whatever. Just seems like a good idea to me.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I really support the sort of having the IP to your NFTs and being able to do things like that. So what you were saying about t-shirts, like, I don't know, a Gucci t-shirt or something like that. One of my other projects that I'm involved in have something similar where you buy their merch from them, but you can like input the code of your Sappy seal, and so it's like customizable, and they print the merch with your seal on it. So like there are definitely things like that have been thought of and stuff like that, and it's all about sort of, especially with projects, right, it's all about like knowing that they're supporting the founders, the people that are involved, the developers. They're supporting the project and working on it, and also sort of supporting the community, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we were saying about cool artwork that Stash was going to show us some NFTs.
Yeah, perfect. So I have two projects that I really love right now. They're called Alien Friends, and the other one is Threelanders. So basically, both of them are essentially a PFP, but at the beginning, but they've started to be a sick community, a great group of friends, active users, and they are building their own brand. So I like Freelanders a lot because, you know, with Mutant Apes, you had just one kind of ape with loads of different types, and then all it had is different attributes. But with Freelanders, basically, they have like this DNA template of like 10 different types of caricatures, and then like hundreds of different like traits, like different expressions
So
that you can see.
This
It's
collection here, Stash, is like Chris was saying with the profile pictures, isn't it? Where there's, although you've explained the different base models, this is that sort of a collection, isn't it?
Yeah.
And one thing that I also use is like a extension called Trait Sniper, where it also does like an analysis and ranks each of the NFTs as like how rare they are based on like their different traits. So you can see this one in blue is rank 946 out of basically 1,000. And then I can be like, oh, I'll click on this.
10,000.
Sorry, out of 10,000. And then you'd be like, it will say all these traits and be like, oh, this trait is selling at 0.2 ETH. And you can see
the floor price other than this one is 0.2 ETH, right? Yeah.
And then you can be like, I'm betting on this project because I think it's got a sick community, and like they're building a lot of things. Like they had a collab with H&M that they have like all their Threelanders clothes, pretty cool merch. Like I would wear this. Like this is in America, unfortunately, not in the UK, but like I would literally wear the hell out of some of these clothes. So like these collections aren't just nobody's. Like they are building. They've got like a mini games where you can send your alien friends on adventures. And my favorite thing of all that I recently found out that they have their own like themes and like basically songs that I can't play right now because they're really loud, but they are so sick and chill to jam to and like do your work. Like I don't know if I can play, but like they have created their own songs. I don't know if you can hear this, but like I listen to these non-stop. Can you hear this?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, but you should definitely check out. But like you could take you guys on like adventures like to different worlds to collect like potions, materials to like craft like spaceships. And then there's like that element to it, like they're actually doing more than you just like a profile picture. Like it is great, but I think
there's a lot more to NFTs than people maybe realize.
That's what, definitely. And like it gives you like the stories and like how there's like legendary ones and how to like what they roadmaps are, and they literally tell you like, okay, we've done all this. They're going to be like doing your reward systems to like reward people. They had like meetups in the Discord and like in person, and like I love this project because I love this goofy kind of animation stuff. And like I had this idea, be like, I really want one of my Threelanders embroidered on a t-shirt because I think that would look so sick, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's like my kind of vibe. So I'm like 10 out of 10 for that. And the other one, which is a similar kind of art style, is Alien Friends. They blew up massively, like in like during like the bull market, and then just like a similar to Threelanders, but I think they're quite much bigger and more of an established project than Threelanders. But basically with these guys, you get like spaceships, you do like little events, like you stake your things to get coins. Like with this guys, you have IP grants, you can like create these companies. And I will show you like the marketplace. It's so cool. Like these people, their business is just essentially you're investing into like
the business.
Yeah, so like here you can see the beard oils. Some guy has created beard oils and he's got alien friends with beards. And it's like, hang on, so that's so cool. Like they've got merch, just spin up companies, and like some guys created like a UFO kind of thing, alien friends themed in the UK to stay in.
Yeah.
You can redeem this by just literally owning these NFTs.
And so what, you can get these things with the coins?
Yeah, with the coins. So you have like the listings, what you can buy white lists when they come out. They have like their own like marketplace to buy the NFTs. And like there's another collection where you can basically buy tickets for like a one of one PFP, but by this quite big NFT artist, and you're like, which gives you that exclusivity, that cool thing. And yeah, like these NFT collections aren't just pictures, they are a brand. They earn money from this, and they do collabs, and like
there's a lot more community behind it.
It is definitely. And I think it's something that people need to just look and go into, because they don't understand that this is literally more than a picture.
How would you advise, Stash, that people find these projects and get into it? Like, how do you do it? How would you think people should get into it? Because for like me, I've never really invested in NFTs. So, I mean, I can ask Stash because he's lovely and friendly. And you can ask Stash too as well by putting anything in the comments, or by sending us an email to weavingweb3@gmail.com.
Or by kidnapping him. You can always
by kidnapping Stash.
So like,
hey,
OpenSea is
tell me what NFT to buy.
But like, obviously it'd be really useful to ask you, Stash, but like, where else do you sort of look, and how do you find things?
So like, there's loads of, number one place is I would go to first is OpenSea, because that is the basically the first big tradable marketplace for NFTs. And the nice thing that they have is they have at the very bottom educational little things of what's an NFT, what a crypto wallet's like. We're talking about gas fees, how to buy things, and that's the number one thing you should do before you buy anything, before you even think of investing. Understand what it is, what the technology is. And after you do that, you can, let's say, look at the top collections, because usually the top collections right now are like the most established ones, like CryptoPunks. Obviously, I don't think you can afford one for like 16 ETH, but you can kind of click on these main top collections and understand them. What do they bring? Why are they at the top? And then you can start researching and going down the list and be like, oh, hang on a second, what is this project? What is this community? What are they trying to do, kind of thing? I think you need to start from the top and work your way down. And then
you can see actually just in that that Bored Ape Yacht Club, Other Deed by Other Side, Bored Ape Kennel Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club. I'm not sure about Jimmy Yacht Club. I think that's a new one. But they're all
probably a scam.
It might be a scam, but it might be another one. But they're all
piggybacking
by Bored Ape Yacht Club. Yeah, they're all sort of.
You can see how successful they are.
So how successful it just shows because they're all in the top 10. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would do. And like, for me, I want a sense of community. And like, one thing I think is really important when you personally is when you go on a collection, you're like, how many of these users are unique? So usually on OpenSea, you will have basically 50% of the holders are unique. So there's over 5,000 people that are actively participating. Like obviously sometimes people are in these communities, but they can't afford to have these NFTs. But it shows you the diversity. And the more, I personally think, the more diverse a community is, the better and more successful it will be. That's why Bored Ape Yacht Club is so successful, because they've, the easiest way to say is franchised their brand into multiple different new variants and stuff like that to encourage those people that may not be able to afford it. So you just onboarding the community and having that worldwide presence is just going to be something that enables like a project to be successful. And like you say, you always tell me, is how is this business going to make money? Because if there's no way of generating revenue, it's going to collapse. So that's why like these collaboration with these big brands and like releasing sub collections that aren't just, oh, it's just a sub collection, we need a quick money. They have useful things that you need. Like, for example, you need a plot of land to enable you to go on adventures or harvest certain products to make your things better, or like mutate your NFT, which creates like a whatever. So there is that story building process. It can't just be like, here we go, we're just going to throw some random things at you. So yeah, it is a long process. I don't think I would say I've been in this for 3 years and I still don't know anything. I learn stuff all the time. Like, it is like with education, with anything in life, you're not just going to get it straight away. You may be that lucky 1% that bang, you got it all, but you need to take your time with it. Like, don't stress out that you don't understand what an NFT is in like a week or so.
Could you also just quickly for me, Stash, look up George Goodwin? He's an artist. Yeah, there's an artist that I like. I don't know if you can go on his Instagram. Just on
I can go. Well, I'll be using the Weaving Web3 Instagram that we will be shortly launching.
Yeah, so it's OMG.
OMG.
I draw. ED edit, but yeah, and then it's that top one. It's oh my god, I drawed it. It's his title, but it's a guy called George Goodwin, and he does these are NFTs, but these are very different from those profile picture collections. These are full artscapes in his particular style. And this is the guy that did the Tezars, which is a PFP collection. But he does this sort of an art style. And this is just something I want to show some people that they're not all just. He produced a lot of one-offs.
That's the thing. That's the thing with NFTs. There's such a variety, right? It's like any artwork. You can have so many different utilities to these NFTs, right? You can have, as you just showed, this artist who does amazing sort of landscape sort of thing, and he's just selling. I'm guessing he's just selling them as art.
He sells them as art. This guy, he did Tezos, which was like a PFP one that was on the Tezos blockchain, which was a collaboration with Object, which is like an OpenSea bit for Tezos. But a lot of these, I believe he sells as one-off commissions. But for me, just personally, like I love that busy, high, vibrant art style. It looks
so cool.
It's very cool, and it's very different. And I think that's where I know like the PFP ones are the very popular ones for people who are like buying, investing, or selling. But I think a lot of those one-off commission ones, like he's doing there, are awesome just to have. Like you could put that print on your wall, or put that on some clothing or whatever, and just go. It's so unique.
Exactly. Yeah, and I know obviously people can make the sort of distinction of, well, I don't need to buy it to put it on my wall. I can just sort of save the image and print it. Sure. However, like
you can't sell it for maybe 50 grand when this guy's become famous.
You can, as we said, right? You can own a picture of the Mona Lisa. You can own a picture of a Banksy, right? There is a difference between owning, like an official Banksy print right now probably sells for about 30 grand, right? Anyone, and loads of people do this, right? Just make their own prints, Banksy prints, sell them for a tenner online, right?
Yeah.
But there is still that differentiation between having an official Banksy print. There's why are people paying £29,990 more for an official Banksy print than
NFTs could be called exclusivity tokens, and I think it would be just as reasonable a name. You know, be it club membership, be it anything you want one of one, and it is exclusivity. And that's what it boils down to. And some people, like for me included, would I go and spend £2 grand on a piece of digital art? I personally wouldn't. I potentially would if I thought I was going to make money off of it, because that's the sort of person I am. I don't spend lots of money on art in my personal life, but some people love it. And if you're buying art because you love it, that's all well and good. If you're buying it because you'd like to use it on other things you've got or put it on your wall and have that exclusivity, then that's great. But I think that's the bit, is that the people who are buying things because of the perceived value don't see there's any perceived, and I use the word very seriously, perceived value, because
It could all go to zero any day.
But everything is perceived value.
Yeah.
So like I talked about the clothes, the Hugo Boss suit has got a perceived much higher value. That even if someone told you, oh, it shouldn't be worth this much, you would, if you saw a Hugo Boss suit for 1,500 quid, it's literally perceived value is why discounting works. Is that if something was £2,000 and now it's 1,500, you go, that's a good deal. It might not be still, but that's perceived value. And I think that's the thing, that the people who go, well, I can just copy the image. Yeah, absolutely you can. The perceived value proposition is not there for you. You're not the person who's interested in it. And that's sort of where I land is, if Stash told me, look, mate, guaranteed money maker on this Donald Trump NFT, I absolutely love the bloke. These NFTs are flying. I might buy it because for me, there's a perceived uplift in the value that I can sell it later and get more money, even if I hate the art. But I think if you're buying an NFT...
But Stash loves it, obviously. Stash does love the art. And
absolutely. But I think that's the thing. It's for me, it all comes back to perceived value. If your perception of the value is, I love the art and I want to keep the art and I think it's really cool, then it will always have value to you, no matter if it's worth nothing on OpenSea. If you're doing it for investing, you shouldn't care if you like the art or not. You should look at things like a rarity sniper and think, am I getting a good deal? And those are the camps for me.
Yeah, and those two camps exist in NFTs. There are so many people, obviously, in it for the money. There are also so many people in it because they believe in the project. Personally, I'm not really a trader. I'm, as usual, permanent hodler. As I said before, and as you know as well, James, I just love losing money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hold on to these things. Like, I grow attached to them.
Yeah.
Which is the worst thing to do in NFTs, in the NFT sort of thing. Because, like, I've got... So, my favorite NFT is my Sappy Seal, which I actually won on a Twitter competition. So, back in the day, about a year ago, there was like a big boost. It went all the way up to 2 ETH value, which back then was about £4,000, which I was like, and everyone was telling me to sell, and I was like, should I sell? But I really like my Sappy Seal. I don't want to do it anyway. And then it dropped all the way back down to 0.5 in the bear market. Now it's doing a bit better, but like at the time, I could have sold that, bought another project, and been up to like, I don't know, 15 ETH or something like that now. But you know, it's
but conversely, you didn't have any idea if in a year's time that Sappy Seal would have been worth 50 ETH.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
Like, there are people that are better than this, that are in it for investment, that are in it for trading, that kind of can see these trends, do their research and everything, that have got it down to a T. I'm just some guy who won a Twitter competition, got my picture of a seal, and I like that picture of a seal, and I want to keep it.
And as you should, like, there's nothing wrong with that. But you could have sold it a few days ago when I told you. Then you could have 2 more.
Stash.
No.
Sorry, I didn't want to say that
Stop
again.
kicking the man when he's down. He's just told
that.
us he's lost £4,000. You go, oh, you're closer to me. You can have a couple, but he might not have his Sappy Seal back, and that's the real key.
That's true. Yeah,
that's what Chris is saying, is that it's his Sappy Seal now, and he doesn't
Sappy
care.
Seal 8208 is my seal.
There are many Sappy Seals like it, but that one is his. Full metal. When he shaves his head and shoots you in the toilets, that's when it's getting very serious. But I hope for everyone that was a pretty good understanding of what NFTs are, what sort of people buy them, why they buy them, where you can see them and where you can learn a little bit about them, and sort of the ethos around them. And I personally found it really interesting when Sash was going in and having a look at 3 lands. That looks awesome to me. 3 lands.
Not financial advice, but I will be buying some more.
It's never financial advice on this pod. I think 3 lands looks like the word bland, but that's not financial advice. That's just my impression. But I just thought it was awesome to go and look at that stuff. And I hope that anyone listening or watching at home now understands a bit more about NFTs. If any of what we said is confusing, please let us know. The email is weavingweb3@gmail.com. And obviously there's always a comment section on YouTube.
And I'm sure that's the thing. I'm sure we're going to do more videos on NFTs.
Oh, 100%.
You cannot sum up NFTs in one 45-minute video, right? Like the amount of variety, the amount of like, I guess, functionality that's available out there that is being developed is pretty insane, and that definitely converted me from being like, oh, it's just a picture, to being actually, wait a second, this is something that I should look at.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's been this week's Weaving Web3 with me, James.
Me, Chris.
And me, Stash. But before we finish, I know I have to admit someone stole my "where is this from?" So unfortunately, I had to raid
So what,
my
are you going to
grandmother's
eat the
cupboard,
person?
and I have something else. I'll take out the box. It is one of my favorite like snacks.
You're gonna have to hold it in
treats
front of your body
ever.
here, Stash. We can't see. Yeah.
It's
Oh, it's a
baklava.
Danish
Oh,
select.
I know what that is. I
Baklava.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's baklava.
yeah,
Chris is getting his pronunciation out.
Yeah.
Baklava. How do you pronounce
Baklava.
it, Stash?
Well, I'm Polish, so I say baklava. So I guess
Yeah,
that's wrong.
we call it baklava in Greece. So.
Baklava. So yeah,
England, we call that
it's
cake.
one of like when I on a night out, one of the best places to go. I used to go. You'd get the kebab, and then you'd need something sweet, and like the sugar. It's just and the like.
I've never had baklava. Baklava.
You've never had baklava or baklava?
No, I'm
So, yeah,
uncultured swine.
Can you guess where it's from? It was like
so is it from like a UK retailer?
yes.
Okay.
I'll tell you,
Is
it's
it
from
from
like
a
the
UK
fancier one.
supermarket?
Sorry.
Is it from a UK supermarket?
Yes, it is from a UK supermarket.
Is it a high-end UK supermarket?
Higher, yes.
I think that is a Waitrose baklava.
Okay.
Are you going to go with the
Higher-
same, or are you going to go to a different one?
Depending on what Chris picks, I'm changing my answer. But yeah,
I'm gonna say, like you can say Waitrose. I'm gonna say Marks and Spencers, but
that's what I was going to go for. So I'm going to stick with Waitrose.
okay.
Well, for the first time ever, you are correct, Chris.
He's won.
Yay!
What a victory! It's a Christmas miracle.
Christmas miracle.
Although this has been released in the new year, but it's a Christmas
Yeah,
miracle.
New Year's miracle.
It's a New Year's miracle. Oh, fantastic.
Awesome. Okay.
I hope you have an amazing New Year's, guys, and everyone else who's listening. We are manifesting an amazing future of prosperity, of innovation, technology, and attending conferences will be our next episode, because honestly, the shit that's going to be happening this year is going to be the innovation that will power the next bull market.
And this has been our 2022, and one of our initial goals is to do 52 podcasts in a year. Right, so I'm hoping that by this time next year we can come back and say we did it, boys.
Yes.
And even if we're just recording for ourselves, it doesn't matter, because we're just going to stick to it and keep at it. So thank you
James,
so much.
You're forgetting that it's just going to be you and me, and then whoever we get to replace that.
Well, of course, yeah, no, of course, Stash won't be here. The baklava boy will be gone, but I don't know who we'll get in to replace him. But a bit more, I don't know. Oh, the eyebrows are going.
I'm
But
watching you guys, don't worry.
no, I do. Honestly, though,
I'm going to leak the location of your wedding.
This has been one of my favorite bits of 2022. It's making some friends and doing some podcasting and just having a chat with some guys who are interested in crypto and blockchain and Web3. And I'm learning so much from you boys, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And here's to another year of this.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Signing
yeah,
off, guys.
100%.
Have a sick one. Bye, guys.
Bye.